this is Cynthia the Audio Belle, and I'm here with Jill from Klipsch.
Yeah, so I started working at Klipsch 17 years ago, and back then there were job wanted ads in the newspaper. Speakers, and here is one. This is the brand new one, but it is about 4 feet tall and weighs about 200 pounds. So we've got Heritage wireless speakers, so they still kind of they have this look and feel where they're wood, and they've got cool grills. So they wanted smaller speakers, and when he was saying he could build that in this sealed cabinet in this small little package that would still be impactful and deliver the live music experience, that was Heresy, and so he named them Heresies.
Hi everyone, this is Cynthia the Audio Belle, and I'm here with Jill from Klipsch. Jill, it's so nice to see another woman in high-end audio. There's so very few of us, and I hardly see any of them come to the show, let alone a woman that's an audiophile. So why do you think there's so few women in the audio world?
Well, it's traditionally been a male-dominated world. Men like all the electronics and the sound, and they're the ones that really push for speakers to come home and enjoy those in their homes. But I do see more women attending these things at different trade shows throughout the year, and it is nice to meet you and have someone that's influencing other women to enjoy audio, as well as just people starting to work at other manufacturers. And so we're getting there. We're starting to grow.
You think that we're getting there? I'm definitely seeing a lot more women at Rocky Mountain this year than last year, as well as just at Expona. There weren't very many women there either, unless they're there with their husband or with a friend or something. Do you think that there's marketing going on for that to get more women into it?
I don't. Not that I notice, at least. I mean, it's usually just people, at least for the attendees, it's usually men bringing their spouses. Mm-hmm. But I think that we can talk about audio in different ways that just bring in the emotional factor and the just joy of having music in your life, as opposed to watts and ohms and hertz and things like that seem more techy and to me less interesting than just how it makes me feel when I'm listening.
Yeah, something that touches their heart.
Yes.
And that they can listen to, and maybe they've heard before, but they haven't heard it on a high-end system.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that most people know how good audio can be. When I first started in this industry, we had a boob tube, mm-hmm. and I would have told you that the speakers in that were just fine. You know, as TVs get slimmer, we need more audio, things that sound good, and I think that a lot of people in general just don't know what exists. Mm-hmm. So it's good for us to spread the word, and I'd like to keep doing that.
It's about awareness, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So what do you think that we can do to get more women into high-end audio?
Well, I think you're helping. I think there are a lot of people that are starting to, that I'm starting to see that are a lot younger on the scale. And I think that if we just talk about it in different ways, and then we can also market to women too. There are products that we have that are kind of entry level to get into, whether it be headphones or Bluetooth speakers, before you would graduate to something that's, takes as tall as I am. So there are many options, whether you go top down or bottom up, but hopefully a lot of those things will start pulling in people to discover other things, other speakers.
So how did you get started? How did you, start on your journey to becoming an audiophile, and, what did you listen to? Was it something specific that you heard, or what exactly happened to make it click?
Yeah, so I started working at Klipsch 17 years ago, and back then there were job wanted ads in the newspaper. So I responded to one of those because they were hiring in their marketing department, and I've been in marketing my whole life, or my career, and really enjoyed the company. I mean, we're making speakers, but we always say that we're making toys, and these things bring joy to people. They bring music in people's lives, which is, I think, makes everyone in a better mood. But I wouldn't have ever really said I was an audiophile. And when I first started working there, all the speakers were huge, and I kept saying, I will never have these in my home. But then once I sat with them and listened to them, and you realize how dynamic and I don't know if I should say life-changing, but once you kind of get that, then I've had many speaker systems that are pretty enormous or big, but they're so impactful. Mm-hmm. So I've had just different kinds of Klipsch speakers along the way, and many years ago listened to Klipschorns, and I think it was I'm not really sure what the song was, but it gave me goosebumps, and I had to have those speakers. And here is one. This is the brand new one, but it is about 4 feet tall and weighs about 200 pounds. So, yeah. So I bought them, I took them home, and we lived in an 80-year-old home. So they didn't fit in any of the corners. They were just huge. So we went shopping for a new home. And now I get to enjoy these every day. It's really nice.
Yeah, you were on Steve Guttenberg's channel, yes. And you're talking about how you got a home that was tailored to fit your Klipschorns, which I think is really cool.
Yes.
I did something similar. I got a custom-built home just to fit in my system, so I totally get that.
We're rare breeds.
Yes.
I don't think most people would do that, but I got really lucky that the house that we picked, it fit the speakers, but then they sound really, really good in there too. So, yeah, it makes going home and, not necessarily always going to sit on the couch and watch television. Now I can just sit on the couch and enjoy music and dance around the room or whatever I feel like doing. So, just a nice alternative to being a couch potato.
So, since you bought the speakers, was there some type of husband acceptance factor there?
So my husband has been a proponent of Klipsch since day one. Mm-hmm. He's a gamer. And when I first interviewed, he was like, they make pro medias, you've got to go work there. And thankfully I got hired, and he's had pro medias and many other things along the way. But when I said, like, I want these speakers, he was on board. Mm-hmm. And I got lucky that way, and that he was, didn't think I was insane, that I wanted to move homes to be able to fit them in the house. So, and he enjoys them as much, if not more, than I do.
So the husband acceptance factor was very low then?
Yes. Yeah, he was game.
Well, that's nice. So when you played it in your new house, what did you think?
I had one of my coworkers come over and help me, tow them in and get them just right. Mm-hmm. And by the end of us making sure that they sounded as good as they could, they were optimized in the room, I was crying at whatever we were listening to because they sounded so good. Mm-hmm. And he was laughing, just having different emotional responses to it. So my first impression in the house was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of curious to know, you are a senior director of communications. Mm-hmm. So what exactly is that? What do you do? I'm responsible for all of our PR at Klipsch. So getting our product out there, I guess the brand story, but then also our products and getting them into the right hands to let people experience them. We really like third-party endorsements. We don't do a lot of marketing where we're talking about how great we are, but it's nice to hear other people say, I've listened to these and I really enjoy them, and maybe you should too. That there's something hopefully that everyone likes about horn speakers, whether they're small or large or whatever it is. I also oversee all of our events. So when you come to things like this, like Rocky Mountain, and we're in a suite and we've got signage and music and things to do, my team is the one that's been putting this together, as well as trade shows. Mm-hmm. And then also I manage our social media person as well. So that's really fun. We've got a lot of active Klipsch fanatics and people all around the world that really love to talk about their speakers and show off their systems and things like that. So it's neat to be able to be out in the world, whether it's in person or socially, and then hear feedback about what people think of the brand and the speakers. So do they post pictures of their systems on your Facebook page?
Yeah, for everyone here. We have a Monday showcase, and people submit their photos, and then we pick one every week. And I think we give away headphones or little portable speakers to the winner. So it's just something, and then it's our most popular post of every week.
So you have to have some type of Klipsch speaker as a requirement and post it on your Facebook page on Monday.
Yep, they just send it to us, and then we post it out there to hundreds of thousands of people. So it's pretty neat.
Well, that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
So as far as the marketing goes, I'm sure a lot of it is word of mouth because you guys have been around for 70 years now, and you're a well-known brand. and you guys are a legend, an icon.
Yes, which has been really lucky for me to be in the marketing department and not have to lie or make up stories about what products, what they are and what they can do. They speak for themselves, and they've made a lot of people really happy over the years. And we're thankful to have been in the business for 73 years, and we hope to be in it for another 70 plus years. So, we've really taken the technology from Klipschorns all the way down to the smallest products that we make, which be like in-ear headphones. And we're trying to recreate that same sound signature in everything that we make. But then also just bring modern technology into some of those for the way that people are listening to music today, whether it's on the go, in their home, just make things easier and fun.
So what type of modern technology do you guys do?
We've got Heritage wireless speakers, so they still kind of they have this look and feel where they're wood, and they've got cool grills and metal switches and knobs that have tactile responses and feel really nice when you're interacting with them. Those have Bluetooth, and one of them has Google Voice Assistant, so you can control those with your voice or stream music very simply, so just things that are easy to use. And then we've also got powered speakers, just sound bars that we've come out with that we're trying to make more speaker-like. They're made out of wood with horn technology, just trying to elevate the experience as opposed to making speakers or sound bars that just make your TV sound better. We'll try to make them more like a premium speaker, so you can really get depth and dynamics in them as well.
So how do the soundboards sound?
They sound great. They sound really good. They sound really good.
So I noticed, and you described to me, that you guys are doing this thing with other vendors where you have a select wood grain that you're using, and you're partnering with other vendors to match that grain to the speakers.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So we've been really lucky to have some certain partners that we go to really high-end shows like this with, or just demo our speakers in our office or when we're on the road. Cary Audio is one of them, and they made the SLI 80, and it's an integrated amplifier, but there's a Heritage series of that. And so we actually make the wood strips that would be on the sides of the amplifiers in Hope, Arkansas, where we make our Heritage series. And so that amplifier would match the Heritage speakers. And then Pro-Ject is also making some turntables that will match our speakers as well.
And I think that's really cool. Has it been helping with the wife acceptance factor a little bit?
They just came out, so I'm not really sure, but I know that you're going to post some pictures of this gear, and it's really handsome. It really goes along and ties it all together. At my house, I've got all of my gear in a cabinet on the side of, I guess, near my couch. So you don't see any of my gear anyway. It's just kind of tucked away in there. So I don't have beautiful tube amps or things like that just yet. But
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll show some pictures. That way everyone can see what we're talking about, because it's just really beautiful. And it's really neat how you guys got that deal to match those. I think that's amazing.
Yes. And they sound amazing. We've usually chosen those brands because we think that they make Klipsch sound optimal. So we've been really happy to partner with them.
So you guys sell through dealers. Do you also sell direct, or is it solely through dealers?
We sell mostly through dealers, especially the Heritage series. We are really looking for top dealers in the nation that will display it just right, and we want people to be able to walk into a store. I guess that's another thing that we're doing to try to integrate women into this experience. We want people to be able to walk into a retail environment and listen to Klipsch Heritage speakers or just Klipsch speakers. But then when you're bringing your spouse or whatever it is, they can actually hear them. The art of the demo is being lost sometimes. Sometimes when you're buying speakers online, you're not hearing them, not really sure besides what others are saying about them, what you're going to experience. So it's nice to go into a store and have partners that are really showcasing Klipsch and other brands in the best way.
Yeah, it's nice that you get to team up, so to speak, and share a common wealth and goal.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, as far as young people go, are you guys doing anything to get young people in high-end audio?
Sure. I've been working with a lot more, I would say, younger people that are reviewing products. And there's a shift where there are a lot of reviewers and people that are talking about audio, recommending audio online on YouTube. And I think that's something that I hadn't been doing in the last few years. So, well, maybe a little further ago than that, but still, we've got a good network of people that are coming up in this industry and really making audio relevant to people today, to younger generations, and hopefully helping them realize that there's good sound in this world and that it can make people happy.
Yeah, we were just talking about that under 40 dinner that they had at Rocky Mountain on Friday, and like 40 young people showed up, and I was really surprised because I didn't know that there were that many young people in high-end audio. Most of the people I see are my parents' age or my grandparents' age.
Sure.
And I think the big fear is that when the older demographic starts to die off, both on manufacturers and consumers, who's going to take over and carry it on?
It's an interesting situation to be in, because you're right, so many people are the baby boomer generation. They will be retiring in 5 to 10 years, along with a lot of the dealers and manufacturers. So it's I think it's really cool that there is this groundswell of a younger generation kind of saying, here's what we like about what's happening now. Here's what we'd really like to see in the future, and how we can keep this going and make sure that people do enjoy audio and know what to listen for and look for and how to discover, music in whatever way that moves them. So I like that. I like thinking that we can have this industry and have some sort of say in what it will become.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So have you even seen a lot of young people then come through here?
Yeah, we've actually had a lot of young people. We've had the traditional, what I would say, like the baby boomers and maybe 40 to 50-year-olds, but then we've had a lot of people that I would say are in their 20s come through here and really have wow moments, some aha moments. And it's cool to see that look on their faces after they've discovered something that they really like. We've had a lot of people come through here and say that they like that we're playing music that's current. We've been playing a lot of Tool. They just came out with a new album last week. And Billie Eilish, which is always fun. She's super creative and different. And it's just nice to have some music that people can relate to. It's funny because it also, the older generation sometimes really gets into it, and sometimes it's like, that's enough. I'm going to listen to something else now.
So, I want to listen to some jazz.
Yes, some smooth jazz.
Yeah, exactly. But it's nice because it gives the young people something to aspire to. Even if they can't afford it now, they come into a room like this and they see these Klipschorns, and it gives them something to work towards. Maybe they can get an entry-level system, and then they still have what they heard in their mind, and they always go back to that and think back, I want those speakers.
Right.
And they work towards it. So
what I thought was very cool yesterday, we just met yesterday in person, and you spent a lot of time with us yesterday morning. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah.
And you said you had never really heard horn-loaded speakers in general. Is that right?
Yeah, that's true.
But you spent a lot of time here, and I felt like you really liked them and said, I can't really afford Klipschorns yet. You said that.
I did.
And you said, but maybe this Heritage wireless speaker out here, and that is a piece of it, and then maybe someday you would want to have something like this. But you're right, you can have a piece of it now.
Yeah, it's like
like
a memorabilia, a way to remember the experience I had.
Yes.
In a way, it's like a souvenir, but it's also one that I can use because I need a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about how these speakers sound the opposite of the ones I have. I have Magnepans, and they're just like completely opposite ends of the spectrum. And I like both of them a lot. And these speakers, if I had the money, I would buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. I like to hear that because I felt so compelled, I guess, to once I had that aha moment with Klipschorns or whatever, the other speakers that I have too, I had to have them. So.
And now you do.
And now I do.
So I did have another question. So the Heresy speakers, you mentioned that they're really compact compared to the other Klipschorns, and I was able to see them and hear them in the other room. They have a big sound for such a compact speaker.
Yes.
So you mentioned Paul Klipsch had named them Heresy for a similar reason.
Yes, he designed those speakers in 1957. I'm going to say 57. It may have been 59.
If not, I'll link the correct.
Okay, it's
year.
one of those. But I think that there were people saying, they wanted smaller speakers because we had Klipschorns, things that they're pretty sizable. So they wanted smaller speakers, and when he was saying he could build that in this sealed cabinet in this small little package that would still be impactful and deliver the live music experience, that was Heresy, and so he named them Heresies. And so we have a pair here that is the 4th generation of those, and we've done some things to them. They don't come out until December, but everyone at this show got the first listen and look. And we've increased the cabinet size, which gives them a little more volume and more dynamics, but then also ported them in the back. We've always had people say that they would love a little more bass from those, and with the port in the back, it accomplishes that.
So that's been helping with that. Yeah.
They're little monsters out there. They sound great.
They are. So I listened to the Heresy, and then when I listened to the Cornwall, it's astounding that those speakers, while they're not as big as the Klipsch horns, they punch such a large sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a fun way, too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something Steve Guttenberg always says, too. Like, man, these were fun. I really got up and moved. And anyway, that's my best impression.
No, they're super fun. And, some rooms that I walk in, you hear something and it's not fun. It's really solemn, or it may be more serious. And then there's other rooms you go to and it's fun to listen to.
Yes.
More poppy or punchy, just depending on what you're listening to and the company.
Yeah.
But I think that Klipschorns are really fun.
Yes, thank you. And I think that's really wonderful about audio also, where you said you love your Magnepans, but then you also appreciated these too. And there's something for everyone, and maybe it's not the same thing all the time either. I've always also enjoyed, we have a brand called Energy. And we made a speaker called the Veritas, and it was so easy to listen to, where I feel like these get you and they've sucked you in, and there's a lot of energy with them. There are other ones where you just kind of sit back and it was very smooth and easy and, just also very good. So.
Yeah, it's different with each speaker. It's like they all have their own personality, right? Yeah.